Well, we're back with the trivia question, and I know I skipped last time because there wasn't really much to talk about since there wasn't a SnappedChat. So we went with the trivia question here. Actually, my first opponent at the 1029 bar was B, Josiah. Yeah, so it was actually my first year wrestling. It was 2004. It was kind of interesting because I had only done so many shows outside the MPW bubble where I got to like see other play, because it was the one time where you had like people from like the different promotions that were around, like NeoPro and MIW and some of the local spots. So it's my first introduction to a lot of wrestlers, and so like Josiah and I obviously had matches before, and we had matches at the 1029 bar, and the 1029 bar has been a show that's been. It's always been obviously at the bar, but it's always had different like bookers or promoters for it or however. And I've wrestled sporadically throughout my entire career there. So the first time I wrestled there against Josiah, I won, and after the match, I remember one of the local promoters pulled me aside, and actually Josiah and myself pulled me aside and pulled him aside, and managed to talk or took it upon himself to tell us how we were so poorly trained in psychology, and we have no idea because we came from MPW, and that we did not know psychology and like heel and face stuff and all that. And this was all being done. Actually, the 1029 bar has a tent, and there was an open fold. So this guy was talking to us about how we didn't know psychology and our dynamic while having the heel and the face sit there and be right next to each other after their match, being talked to in front of the entire crowd. Because if the flap was, if you looked over to your right or left, you would see the two guys who just wrestled getting talked to by somebody else, not knowing what the conversation was about. But I knew full well what the conversation was about, and I always thought that was kind of an interesting thing to be like, you guys don't know psychology, but I'm going to have you. For a moment here, I'm going to just have it all out on display in front of the entire crowd. And I've gone on to have some other fun matches there, and one time I rode in on a motorcycle, the back of a motorcycle there. North Star Express and Junk Squad had a match there, and then as you know, recently I'm the 1029 bar champion, so I have that going for me. So all these things are very interesting of how all this dynamic has come about, and obviously I look forward to the event on Sunday and retaining my championship. So I hope you enjoyed this trivia flashback to 2004 was the first year that I wrestled at the 1029 bar.